Chapter 48, Julius versus Hyacinthos. Lucius POV. Somewhere, Orario. You're going to die. Hyacinthos shouted as he used his level 3 speed to advance towards me. Multi-firebolt, I thought. Before the man could reach me, 4 fireballs flew at him after forming around me without me moving a muscle, as if I were a fire deity. Shii boom. Shii boom. Shii boom. Shii boom. The bar, which usually had a cheerful and noisy atmosphere, began to sound explosions, causing even many people outside the bar to run into the streets to inform someone from the Ganesh family. Others stopped to see what was happening inside, but it was evident that, from the small explosions in the firelight, it was obvious that this arose from a fight between adventurers. While Lucius remained oblivious to the curious crowd forming outside the bar, he analyzed his opponent while receiving the point-blank attack. My magic is far superior to my opponent's level. However, he could dodge a low-class attack like Fireball, Lucius thought, aiming at the ground where his opponent was heading. When the fire hit the ground, it spread in a small explosion, catching Hyacinthos off guard. When the smoke cleared, he was in a sorry state in the middle of this part of the bar, which was now on fire. I made sure not to hit anyone, but I can't say the same for the man who said he was going to kill me. His clothes were burned with some still-lit fire. He was injured by these firebolts with some burns on his body, nothing too serious, but his expression was even more hateful towards me. Did the members of the Apollo family expect something like this when they decided to try to take an easy prey, like a newly formed Hestia family? I wondered. Hyacinthos was ready to run towards me when a glass flew between us, shattering near our feet. At the counter, there was an irritated dog that didn't bother to turn around in the midst of the commotion. Hey, weaklings. You're ruining my drink. You better disappear from here, he said, and I smiled at this half-beast man. Hyacinthos didn't seem like he was going to give up. His anger overtook his rationality, and he only wanted revenge at this moment. Hello, dog. Long time no see. How's my elven princess? Is she still mad at me? I said, and people gasped. It's one thing to mock a level 3, but now, messing with a level 5 adventurer, not to mention one of the main forces of the Loki family? That's way too insane, making everyone wonder if I had any inclination for voluntary suicide. What did you say, you little mage? I'm going to kill you. He growled now. I just don't know if it was because I always called him a dog or because I'm hitting on a girl from the main team of his family. Hey. Why not wait until tomorrow? I'm thinking of visiting Riveria. Maybe we can fight there? Right now, I have to teach a lesson to this faithful follower of that disgusting and pedophilic god. I said calmly, as if there weren't 2 adventurers with higher levels than me trying to kill me at this moment. He mentioned Princess Riveria? Since when can the princess be treated like that by just anyone? Said an elf in the crowd angrily. Most elves in Orario saw Riveria as a symbol of purity and power. Everyone respected her. Now, seeing an unknown man, even though there were some rumors about his exploits, speaking of her so casually was driving him mad to help the Apollo family member. Did you only pay attention to that? He just called the god Apollo a pedophile. This man is completely insane, said a dwarf beside him. Great. I'm starting to get a great reputation in this city. I thought to myself as I listened to the crowd a bit. TSK, great idea. I'm going to kill you in front of my family, weak mage. Then I'll see you tomorrow at the mansion. The half-beast man, surprisingly to me, even seemed cheerful now. He seems to realize it's better to beat me up in front of the Loki family. This guy is really sadistic. I lamented as I turned to Hyacinthos, who was still looking at me like a madman. No, he was even angrier after my words. I can't fight in here. So let's take it to the street, I thought, and started to run. When Hyacinthos saw me running, he gritted his teeth and ran with all his speed. You're not getting away. As he was about to hit me, I used my small space magic, dodge, allowing me to run through the door while his attack tried to catch up with me. On the street, I realized that our little dispute had already attracted various onlookers, as there was a crowd that was surprised when I ran out the door. To them, they saw a man go through the doors at the speed of a peak level 2, while someone attacked him at a peak level 3 speed. However, the one with a slight advantage could dodge the attacks with some kind of dodging skill. So everyone was surprised by this as the stronger one pursued trying to hit him in this escape. Come and settle the score, captain of that family, belonging to that god with golden curls. I taunted the man. This infuriated him even more, but not as much as the last time. Oh, he screamed as he attacked me with his fists. His appearance was no longer good. His expression was that of a madman. scaring everyone who no longer recognized him as the captain of the Apollo family. After dodging about 20 attacks, I arrived on a street where there was no one in it, but the crowd quickly followed us. It seemed like an interesting sport for spectators at this moment. There was always some fighting among adventurers happening in Orario, but most occurred between level 1 adventurers, with the higher levels being hard to come by. And now they were witnessing a fight that could trigger a war game, which hadn't happened in months. How could they not want to see how this situation would unfold? Now we can fight. We don't have weapons, but I'm a mage, so it's okay if I use magic, right? I smiled, as he seemed to expect an easy fight against the Hestia family when his god ordered him to intercept us and stir up a fight. Hearing this, he just gritted his teeth as he attacked again. I think I'll show off a bit here, I thought, and raised one hand to summon an Atronak, a stronger than usual one, while dodging his punches at the speed of a level 3. Casting the magic from my hand to my side, a purple ball formed, and when it disappeared, a firewoman emerged, illuminating the streets even more, leaving everyone in the crowd amazed. A fire monster. He summoned something out of thin air. Never seen magic like this. Who is this guy? Did you not notice? He didn't even chant. He just clenched his fist with a purple aura and summoned that creature. He's the mage from the Hestia family, the one rumored to have destroyed part of the 18th floor in a fight against a Goliath variant. While everyone gossiped about me, Hyacinthos was surprised by this at the moment too. This kind of magic was something he had never witnessed. Meanwhile, I pointed at him and told the flaming woman, who started to dance while hovering a few inches above the ground. Hit him. As I uttered those words, my Atronak started dancing even more, creating a line of fire in his direction, throwing small firebolts. Hyacinthos began dodging the attacks, which was very easy for him. But as he approached the fiery woman in anger, he realized he was having difficulty dealing with the firewoman since he only had his fists. So, he got burned a bit when his fist connected with the flaming monster. He quickly stepped back, planning to deal with it differently, and started chanting while dodging the fireballs after the Atronak recovered from his punch. Allo Zephyros. Hyacinthos shouted as he formed a large halo of yellow light above the palm of his hand. Without wasting any more time, he lowered his hand, causing that strange magic that even reminded me of one of the attacks from Dragon Ball to fly in our direction. The halo went straight for the Atronak, unable to dodge the attack. The summoning was split in half, and the attack rushed towards me, who was in a corner of the street just enjoying the show while my summon fought. Looking at the spell coming, I knew my firebolts wouldn't break it, so I opted for an even more powerful spell. Fire spell, Fireball. Kaboom. Launching the fireball with raised hands, it quickly collided with the opponent's spell. This caused an even bigger explosion than a single fireball, and the crowd sighed as they were amazed by the fight. Did you see that? He just said a few words, and he unleashed such powerful magic. Hearing this, I couldn't help but think. You say that because I haven't completed the quest for this spell yet. Otherwise, it would be a high-scale destruction machine right now. I mentally scoffed. So the rumors are true. I've never seen someone summon a fire monster and cast magic like that. First, this newly formed family gets a record-breaking adventurer, and now there's a magic monster. Some adventurer lamented. Ignoring the comments, I looked at my opponent. He was quite surprised that I could destroy his magic like that, but I didn't let him recover. I generated fireballs around me without saying a word, and they flew straight towards the level 3 man. He was more prepared now. With the advantage of greater distance, he managed to dodge the attacks, even though they collided with the ground. However, my attacks didn't stop, making it difficult for him to approach. I was smiling as more and more 20-centimeter fireballs formed by my side, and the crowd watched me with comical faces and wide-open eyes. Boom, 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 boom. Hyacinthos, realizing he couldn't get close, gritted his teeth as he dodged the countless firebolts. I must admit, if he gets close, I only have my dodge spell, but I won't be able to attack him, as his physique is much superior to mine, even if I add my support spells. Maybe I'll finish him off as I did with Karina and that dwarf, since he's not superior to them yet. I pondered as I watched the man jump from side to side while fire exploded from his feet. The crowd only grew as the fight continued. The noise wasn't loud, but it attracted curious glances nearby. I even saw Bet's dog, now on top of a building, watching the fight attentively. Caught your attention, little wolf? I smiled at this comment, but my smile quickly faded when I heard a voice from above the houses on the other side. What do you think you're doing? Shouted a blue-haired woman with a spear in hand. It seems the fight is over. The Ganesha family came much faster than I imagined. I lamented. I stopped casting spells, and Hyacinthos also stopped in the midst of the scattered flames. He was still pure rage, but now he couldn't try to take it out on me in front of this woman. He wouldn't dare to confront Shakti, the level 5 woman who shouted at us. "Hello, my lady, we're just having some fun. Isn't it, folks?" Not wanting to have trouble with her either, asked aloud to the crowd. Most didn't want the fight to end, so Shakti's presence left them frustrated, who, despite her beauty, didn't like to see the show being interrupted. Yes, a chorus came from them, and I even found it comical at this moment, hearing all the races shouting at the same time. "Can you stop this? The streets of Orario are not an arena for you to fight." She spoke firmly as she descended from the house and walked towards us. She stared at us, and her eyes gleamed as if challenging us to continue. I sighed, realizing I couldn't do anything more. TCH. Hyacinthos clicked his tongue and turned to leave with hatred in his eyes. His face was burned, his clothes torn, and equally burnt. Our fight was a dagger thrust into the heart of his pride. Once the glorious captain of the Apollo family, now he seemed reduced to a beaten street dog, while I wasn't even touched. Maybe this will teach them not to mess with small families anymore. I muttered internally. Watching him walk away, I looked at the short blue-haired woman staring at me, studying what I would do next. Giving her a big smile, she looked at me with suspicion in her eyes when she saw my expression. "My lady, unfortunately, I am a married man. Although she doesn't know yet that we are in a relationship, I am still faithful to her. Apart from the fact that I slept with 3 different goddesses, so please don't look at me like that," I said innocently. "Who's looking at you like that?" She shouted angrily. Shakti didn't expect anyone in this city to insinuate such things to her, precisely her, the woman who takes care of and must maintain order in this city along with her family. Her outburst was a moment of amusement for me. I enjoy teasing these characters, and Shakti, despite being a level that could kill me without me being able to defend myself, I'm still having fun with it. "My lady, I know you are a beautiful woman. Maybe if I weren't committed, we could go out and get to know each other. But now I have a woman, please don't insist," I said calmly. My words made her change expression several times. What followed was her disappearing from her spot and giving me a punch so fast that I couldn't react. I could only feel a wall being destroyed with my own body and my entire vision darkening. Author's note: this may sound foolish, but Lucius is arrogant enough to try to provoke Shakti, and also wanted to show that he is not so OP at this moment that he can die to a level 5 at any moment. Chapter 49. Events of last night. Lucius POV. Somewhere, Orario. Freya remained at the top of the Tower of Babel, observing the upper floors with an intrigued expression. The next day, she met with Otter, her loyal follower, in search of information about the recent events involving the Hestia and Apollo families. "Can you tell me again, Otter?" The goddess's voice sounded, filled with curiosity and a subtle hint of malice. Otter, always respectful, maintained his indifferent posture while narrating the events. "The members of the Hestia family clashed with the Apollo family last night," Otter reported, revealing details with apparent emotionless precision. Freya, surrounded by an aura of intrigue, yearned for more information. "Can you give me details?" she insisted, her eyes shining with insatiable curiosity, especially as it involved her Otter, the divine attribute that connected her to her beloved. According to our investigation, a group led by Hyacinthos, the level 3 captain himself, followed Belcranel and his group to a bar. There, a member of the Apollo family provoked them, triggering the beginning of the brawl. Otter's narrative continued, remaining neutral in the face of events. "So Apollo wants to mess with my Otter? It seems I'll have to destroy him after all," the goddess declared with a dangerous gleam in her eyes, suggesting an unwavering determination to protect what was hers. Otter, aware of Freya's intense feelings, knew that his goddess was ready to eradicate Apollo, with meticulous plans already forming in her mind. "Continue, I want to know how it ended." Freya's seductive and captivating voice echoed once again, revealing her continued interest in the narrative. Belle and others engaged in a fight, except for the mage Lucius and Captain Hyacinthos, who remained on the sidelines. The Hestia family ended up prevailing in the chaos, demonstrating their strength over the provocateurs from the Apollo family. Otter concluded, realizing that his goddess patiently awaited the final developments of the events. Otter remained undisturbed, his expression unchanged as he reported the events to the goddess Freya, who attentively watched the narrative of the recent events. The fight was coming to an end, with all members of the Apollo family defeated on the ground. Otter began, maintaining a cold and objective tone. However, as the dust settled, Hyacinthos, the relentless captain, rose with renewed determination, attacking furiously and catching the members of the Hestia family off guard. He continued, detailing the scene he had investigated. It was when he grabbed Belcranel's neck that the last member of the Hestia family acted. Without ceremony, he cast fire magic on Hyacinthos, catching him off guard with the sudden attack. The description of the fight extending into the streets was delivered with equally undisturbed composure. The battle moved to the streets in a confrontation between Lucius and Hyacinthos. Many witnesses observed Lucius demonstrating short-range teleportation skills, skillfully dodging Hyacinthos' attacks. However, even with this notable talent, Lucius has already reached the peak of level 2 in physical terms, an advancement that contradicts the usual leveling expectations in just 2 weeks, Otter logically analyzed. Addressing questions about Lucius and his intriguing nature, Otter remained true to his serious and undisturbed nature. This peculiar member who joined the Hestia family seems to have notable abilities, he stated, without giving any hints of surprise or emotion. Freya looked at him and reflected, however, his soul doesn't attract as much attention as Belle's. It's remarkably ordinary. This raises the question, am I being deceived before my eyes? Who is this Lucius? Any additional information since we began investigating? She questioned, maintaining her sensual tone, awaiting Otter's response. She was always keeping an eye on Belcranel and those who interacted with him, with the intention that nothing bad would happen to him. She never paid much attention to Lucius, beyond debating whether he would be a threat to her Otter or not. But she saw only a common purple soul, nothing too flashy. However, she is starting to feel that she is being deceived before her own eyes because his growth is no longer lower than Belle's, risking to say that it is still greater than the little newcomer. Nothing more than we've already gathered. A mediocre adventurer who came to Orario 2 years ago, showed little talent, being one of the poorest ever recorded in Orario's history. He belonged to the Heimdall family but was expelled 2 months ago for showing no progress despite his efforts. He joined the Hestia family almost 2 months ago and has been showing results completely opposite to what he was experiencing in recent years. I won't be surprised if he breaks the record for leveling from 2 to 3 in the next few weeks, according to my investigation. Freya remained serene, her piercing gaze fixed on Otter as she calmly formulated her questions. The atmosphere around, in the divine environment, was impregnated with the subtle tension that precedes intriguing discoveries. But according to your latest investigation, he didn't start showing his explosive growth until he joined the Hestia family, did he? Freya inquired, her voice echoing with the certainty of someone accustomed to controlling the invisible threads of destinies in Orario. Yes, Goddess Freya, Otter replied, maintaining his serious and respectful tone. He disappeared from people's eyes after being expelled, but he didn't leave Orario. A week later, he bumps into Belcranel. The scene unfolded in Orario, where dancing shadows and soft lights composed the divine setting as the conversation continued. He took that grimoire, didn't he? Freya questioned, her words laden with a mix of curiosity and displeasure. The mystery surrounding the stolen grimoire caused a bitter sensation in her divine mind. Yes, we believe he took the grimoire on purpose. Then, after a few hours, he goes to the church, delivering a new grimoire to the Hestia family. Freya pondered this revelation, her expression maintaining its usual calm, but her eyes conveying an intensity of deep thought. So, he stole the grimoire but came back with another one shortly after. A genuine one, as Otter learned his magic that same night. Yes, Goddess Freya, Otter confirmed. However, even before Belle went into the dungeon with his newly acquired spell, Lucius was already in the dungeon, unleashing the same magic. This indicates that it wasn't from Hestia that he gained his sudden growth. I heard reports that he could cast magic endlessly in the next few days from some witnesses, but they all believed he had a large mana pool. The narrative unfolded like a complex play, each revelation adding a layer to the intrigue. Freya, curious and determined to unravel the mystery of Lucius, pressed on with her questions. So, something happened in that interval between his expulsion and joining the Hestia family. And you don't seem to believe that he has a large amount of magic, do you? The curiosity in Freya's voice was apparent as she sought to understand her son's hidden emotions through the impassive Otter. The divine setting provided the backdrop for this intriguing celestial interrogation. No, Goddess Freya. Our intelligence heard reports that he had to rest, but due to physical conditions, his magic seemed to never stop replenishing. It was as if it were inexhaustible. Furthermore, he's developing many spells, far beyond the limits of an adventurer with 3 slots, and there's no doubt that his spells are becoming more and more powerful. He's at level 3 or even 4 in magical terms already, Otter declared, his firm voice resonating in the celestial environment. Freya absorbed this information with a perceptible degree of surprise, her divine eyes reflecting the gradual understanding of the extraordinary potential Lucius presented. This is new. Have I been wrong all this time? Is there unprecedented potential alongside Otter? I can't see the degree of potential in that soul, as it presents itself as normal before my eyes, but my vision seems to have been deceiving me all along. This is very interesting. I've heard him say some quite arrogant things, but I never imagined it was real. The divine setting transformed into a spectacle of shimmering colors as Freya processed the revealing information. The celestial room, bathed in ethereal light, seemed to echo the secrets that were beginning to unravel. Yes, he is quite arrogant. Seems to fear no one and doesn't even shrink in the presence of gods. Acts as if there are no consequences to his words and actions, even against those more powerful than him. He doesn't seem to back down. Otter's revelation about Lucius's audacity echoed in the celestial room, creating a curious tension between the goddess and her loyal follower. Freya, with her divine wisdom, delved into a moment of reflection as destinies intertwined amid the revelations. Freya's contemplation, combined with Otter's confession, created a space of reflection in the divine setting. Celestial light illuminated the knowledge that danced in harmony with surprise. Freya's seductive tone resonated once again, leaving an intriguing echo in the air, as if the very essence of the divine were immersed in mystery. But I don't think he'll last long with that attitude. He drew attention from his former god, and he picked fights with the Hestia and Loki families. He must be hated by the Apollo family after yesterday's events. Otter added more pieces to the puzzle, outlining a more complete picture of the tumultuous panorama in which Lucius found himself. The words echoed, portraying the complexity of the intertwined relationships between gods and their followers in Orario. Is his past the one you confirmed? Yes, he changed his last name, but he really belongs to the Raincard family. He is the eldest, who escaped 2 years ago to come to Orario. The guild contacted him when he started attracting attention, which ended with the guild leader being threatened at that moment. Details about Lucius's past, buried in the depths of the celestial city, were revealed to Freya. Her expression revealed a mix of fascination and surprise at the intricate plot that was beginning to unfold. So, that magical explosion came from him a few weeks ago? How interesting. I never expected there to be someone like him hiding while being next to my Otter. Who really are you? Freya stared fixedly at a side of the city, where, in the slums, there was a destroyed church. Inside it, an unconscious man lay, with one side of his cheek swollen, a witness to recent events that were beginning to come to light. I want all the information about him and his movements in real time as well, Freya ordered, her words resonating with unquestionable authority. Her gaze, piercing as the sky itself, fixed on Otter, eagerly awaiting the updates that would flow from the most hidden corners of Orario. Yes, Goddess Freya, Otter replied, bowing in a sign of respect before divine will. The words were spoken with typical solemnity, reflecting the follower's unwavering devotion to his deity. Third-person POV. Sometime after Freya and Otter discussed the events of yesterday, in another part of the city, in the sumptuous Twilight mansion, the environment was drastically different from the slums that contrasted with its opulence. A richly adorned area, full of majestic mansions belonging to great merchants and nobles, stood out for the presence of a singular mansion, the Twilight Mansion. An imposing structure that transcended the others, and whose influence permeated harmoniously throughout the neighborhood. Everyone knew that this was due to one of the most powerful families in Orario, the residents of the Twilight Mansion. Inside the mansion, a scene of refinement and elegance, an extraordinarily significant meeting was taking place. Executives and members of the main team, all gathered in a private room, holding a vital discussion. The importance of the meeting was evident, as no member of the secondary team was summoned, indicating the gravity of the unfolding events. Are you saying that the Chibi has an extremely powerful wizard, in addition to that record-holding rabbit? Exclaimed Loki, his voice echoing through the elegant corridors of the mansion, expressing his disbelief in the face of the events narrated by Bet, an eyewitness to the recent developments. Loki's tone reverberated through the room, alternating between surprise and indignation at the surprising revelation. The atmosphere of the meeting, illuminated by golden chandeliers, conveyed a sense of importance and urgency as the powerful discussed the unexpected developments challenging the established expectations in Orario. From what I heard from Bet, he can summon a fire creature resembling a human woman, in addition to that goblin, and can cast various spells without an incantation. But what's more surprising is that he didn't seem to stop casting them as the fight continued. Pondered Finn, the family captain, his eyes reflecting intrigue at Lucius's extraordinary abilities. Collective attention focused on Riveria, the elf who, immersed in deep thoughts, had witnessed the events involving the enigmatic human. Have you heard of anyone like that, Riveria? Finn inquired, seeking some clarification on the mystery surrounding Lucius from the elf's wisdom. Honestly, that human has been a complete mystery since the day I met him on the 7th floor. His growth is very rapid, not even someone like that among the elves in our history. He truly is incredibly powerful in magical terms. Even still at level 2, I believe he can fight a level 4 and even win, if he has a powerful enough spell in his arsenal, pondered Riveria, her voice echoing with the consideration of someone who faced the enigma called Lucius. Freya, by her side, shifted uncomfortably. She was quite jealous of someone even more talented than her emerging, and now taking the attention of everyone in her family, even if the person in question was outside her family. So, the rumors are true. Did he really destroy a crystal on top of a Goliath in Riveria? Tione asked, her voice filled with excitement at epic feats, even if performed by an adventurer considerably less experienced than her. Tione had witnessed the change on the floor in the last few weeks, but the idea that the one responsible was the same man who had been knocked out by Riveria before the last expedition still intrigued her. It seems so. We investigated 5 days after the incident. There's indeed a change in the landscape on that floor, as you've seen, and it was caused by Lucius of the Hestia family. Explained Finn, his tone revealing the seriousness of the recent events. The decision to investigate only occurred after the main team rested while the second team took over the mission. Disconcert prevailed because, although some ventured into the dungeon during this interval, no one was certain of what had exactly happened. Hey, why did we leave at that moment? I wanted to see the 2 Goliaths that I heard from the other adventurers, lamented Tione, changing her mood by 180 degrees. TSK, that human is still weak. He just knows how to release some fireballs, complained Bet. But his growth is remarkable, Riveria retorted. Are you defending him now? Don't tell me there's something between you, mocked Bet, his irritation evident in Riviera's response. The gaze of the room converged on the elf at this moment, a palette of strange expressions painting the faces of those present. Aze, maintaining her imperturbable posture, remained silent. The interest was not so much in the possibility of something between Riveria and Lucius, but rather in the perspective of the family's most powerful mage on the mysterious adventurer. Riveria, realizing the attention turned to her, blushed slightly at the insinuation. Of course not. I know him a bit. He's a nice guy in the END, although he has some worrisome flaws, she responded, momentarily breaking her stoic demeanor. Worrisome flaws? You say that after having something to do when you cast a high-level spell on him during our camp, teased Tiona, introducing a touch of humor into the conversation. No, that was an accident, murmured the elf, a slight blush persisting on her cheeks. The small elf by her side, watching attentively, seemed perplexed, as if witnessing an unknown side of her teacher. And she thinks she is one of those sides too. Freya reflected, recalling the days of training under Riviera's strictness, which left her restless even during sleep. She even thinks he's a nice guy in the end, these youngsters. Ha 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 ha, commented the level 6 dwarf. Riveria found herself in a dead-end corridor as this topic continued to unfold. MOM. The impact of those words reverberated through the corridor, suddenly freezing any other conversation. All present turned their gazes to the source of these words, revealing the anguished presence of their goddess. Loki's hands trembled, her fingers clenched, and the heads of her family bowed, creating an image of palpable distress. MOM. MOM. Loki repeated, a lament echoing like a somber melody, casting a shadow over the room and instilling apprehension in most of her family members. Are you okay, Loki-sama? Freya asked, her voice expressing genuine concern, while everyone's hearts pulsated in tune with the uncertainty hanging in the air. Upon raising her head, everyone witnessed Loki crying, her tears flowing like drops of despair. The corridor, once silent, was now filled with the solemn sound of Loki's tears, like a symphony of sadness resonating in the dark corners of that space, just seconds before the goddess shouted with all the force of her lungs. I'm going to lose MOM to a chibi's son. Unforgivable. These breasts are mine and belong to no one else. The entire neighborhood heard Loki scream at this moment, while her family had to cover their ears. A while later, Loki was still crying and muttering in a corner with depression. So he turns up here today? Finn asked Bet, who was at the bar and exchanged a few words with Lucius. Yes, that weakling said he's coming here, and I'm going to beat him, so he's mine, he announced. Well, this is going to be interesting. Gareth spoke cheerfully. But soon the ongoing conversation was interrupted by a knock on the door. Tiona quickly went to open it for her captain, and there, a level 2 member of the secondary team stood. Captain Finn, there's a member of the Hestia family at the gate, named Lucius Drakenar, saying he has scheduled a visit with some family members, including Princess Riveria-sama. Looks like our boy has arrived, Gareth said again, looking quite excited. After he said that, all the members of the room stood up with curiosity to see the man who has been causing a lot of disturbance in their family lately. But not before their goddess, who was in a corner crying, and after hearing about Lucius, quickly stood up and ran like a level 10 to the door, leaving everyone perplexed, with their mischievous goddess wanting satisfaction with this Lucius before anyone else there. Chapter 50, Current Status. Lucius POV. Abandoned Church, Orario. Lucius POV. Orario, Abandoned Church. Sometime before the meeting between the key members of the Loki family, Lucius awoke in the dimness of the abandoned church, his face throbbing with pain. The swollen side and broken nose were silent witnesses to the tumultuous night before. Quickly, he invoked healing magic to alleviate the discomfort, while his eyes explored the dusty surroundings. The ancient church, now an improvised refuge, exuded an atmosphere of abandonment and mystery. Beams of light filtered through broken windows, illuminating the forgotten space. Wooden benches creaked under the pressure of time, and worn walls whispered ancient stories that had been forgotten. Damn, Lucius muttered, as if waking up from a hangover, his thoughts unraveling as he tried to reconstruct the events of the previous night. Riekling, his loyal companion, emitted some grunts in response, expressing his presence beside Lucius during the tumultuous night. Riekling, how are you? Did you protect Hestia yesterday? Lucius asked, scratching his head as he struggled to recall the details. Riekling responded, his expressive language showing devotion to his master. Don't change the subject, boy. About yesterday, I met a very powerful and crazy woman. Lucius began, trying to dispel any misunderstandings. Riekling interrupted, indicating that the topic wouldn't be easily dropped. I swear I didn't mess with her, just said I wanted nothing to do with her, respectfully. Lucius tried to close the topic, but Riekling seemed convinced otherwise. The brief conversation was interrupted by Belle's voice, echoing in the church corridor. There were no private rooms in that makeshift place, only functional spaces for basic needs. Belle, with a worried expression, emerged from the corridor, breaking the silence of the abandoned church. Mr. Lucius, called Belle, bringing with him an anxious energy. Soon followed, Welf, Lily, and Hestia right behind him. Hey, everyone, greeted Lucius, a faint smile adorning his lips. Man, you beat up that arrogant captain. It was the best thing I've seen in a while, exclaimed Welf, his expression radiating happiness. Yes, Mr. Lucius, you saved me at that moment, thanked Belle, though Lucius could sense the young adventurer's clenched fists. He reflected as he listened to Belle's thanks. He must have realized that not only am I stronger than him now, but there's also a much larger gap between us. Yes, Lily also thanks for saving Belle-sama, but Lily thinks Lucius-sama is too reckless and mocking a level 5 adventurer like Shakti, lamented Lily, her voice laden with concern. Thanks for saving Belle-kun. But why do you always get into some trouble in this city? Teased Hestia immediately, eliciting laughter from those present. What can I say? I wanted to provoke that woman a bit, but I guess it didn't work out too well. Lucius laughed at his own foolishness, but his expression quickly turned serious as he faced Hestia. Anyway, we were targeted by the Apollo family. You know that, don't you? Stated Lucius, directing a serious look at the goddess before him. It's true, Belle and the others told me what happened before you fought. Hestia confirmed, her eyes expressing the seriousness of the moment, while the others remained silent. I don't think it will be the last time. So, better be prepared. Lucius warned, his words echoing in the abandoned church like a foreboding of what was to come. But didn't Lucius give a good humiliation to the captain of the Apollo family? Why would they try to mess with us again? Pondered Welf, his words echoing in that space of worn walls and broken stained glass. Belle and Hestia nodded, expressing approval of the blacksmith's reasoning, but Lily's quietness drew everyone's attention. Lily thinks it's not that simple. She finally spoke, her words sounding with calculated seriousness, revealing the strategic nature that always characterized the small spy. Lily is right. As much as I humiliated Hyacinthos, I didn't defeat him. And the Apollo family consists of at least 100 adventurers. Even with the majority being level 1 and some level 2, their strength lies in numbers. It's a challenge for us in a direct confrontation, explained Lucius, his tone reflecting a deep understanding of the situation. My former god is like Apollo, and knowing that type, he'll want revenge, despite that attack at the bar already being planned. So, you better strengthen yourselves because things are going to get quite complicated at this point, warned Lucius, his eyes reflecting the seriousness of the warning. Another thing, the Heimdall family may be targeting us as well. They tried to attack me in the dungeon. That's why I recommend that you all focus on getting stronger while we have a short time. Lucius left a direct message for Karina, Hug, and the others, his words laden with the urgency of the situation. Lucius, are you suggesting that your former family, the Heimdall family, is also interested in us? This can't be serious. Hestia spoke with a surprised expression. It's very serious, Hestia. They tried to attack me in the dungeon. It may have been an isolated action. I didn't kill them to prevent them from retaliating, but we better be prepared for the worst, Lucius said with some seriousness. This complicates things even more. We can't ignore two powerful families. How do we plan to deal with this? Belle looked concerned. It seems like our problems are just beginning, but we won't give up. If we need to get stronger, then that's what we'll do. Well frowned. Lucius is right. The strength of the Apollo family is in numbers, and Heimdall may pose a more direct threat. We need to strengthen ourselves. Lily spoke with a thoughtful expression. All right, everyone. Let's face these challenges together. Lucius, can you provide more details about what happened between you and the Heimdall family in the dungeon? Hestia began to regain composure and asked for information. Lucius started narrating the events with the threat from his former god, but avoided talking too much about Karina's words. Everyone had complicated expressions at this moment. Anyway, we went to eat something, but I could feel their tension about the Apollo family's attack. And with this new information that the Heimdall family attacked me, they now knew these attacks wouldn't be the last. Hestia was the most concerned. Even though I shocked them with my spells and magical strength, which can handle a level 3 and be at an advantage, we're still talking about fighting an entire family while the only members of Hestia are Belle and me. Lily isn't officially part of the family yet. But Lucius didn't pay much attention to his colleague's tension. He knew that war was inevitable, and besides getting stronger, discussing possibilities is a waste of time now. Even though I altered a bit how things are going from the canon, I still see the war game. I just need to get stronger now, and I need to talk to Riveria about it. After the first meal, I saw everyone leaving the church for their respective tasks. Hestia went to work, Belle and the others went to the dungeon to strengthen themselves, facing so many challenges, and I even put Riekling with them, so Lily could also fight while my goblin became her new temporary support. Now that I was alone in the place, I muttered, I'll study my stats. It's time to review my recent gains. Information. Name, Lucius Drakenar. Race, human. Family/Falna, Hestia. Nicknames, Open. Level, 2. Status. Strength, I60-B770. Endurance, H150-A812. Dexterity, H110-C603. Agility, H105-E412. Magic, D310-SSS1120. Abilities. Blessing of? Negates any mana cost. Charge magic. Hold magic for 2 times its cooldown and release 4x stronger attack. Development abilities. Luck. I. Spells. Fire spell/firebolt/rank 2. Mission complete. Ice spell/freeze/rank 1. No mission. Support spell/strength booster/rank 2. Mission complete. Support spell/speed booster/rank 2. Mission complete. Summoning spell/goblin/rank 2. Mission complete. Lightning spell/lightning weapon/rank 2. Mission complete. Healing spell/minor heal/rank 2. Mission complete. Alteration spell/mage light/rank 2. Mission complete. Alteration spell/clean body clothes/rank 2. Mission complete. Alteration spell/fix clothes/rank 2. Mission complete. Magic spell/minor magic aura/rank 3. Mission complete. Fire spell/multi firebolt/rank 3. Mission complete. Alteration spell / iron flesh / rank 3. Mission complete. Gravitational spell / minor gravitational field / rank 3. Mission complete. Space spell / quick dodge / rank 3. Mission complete. Lightning spell / lightning weapon / rank 3. Mission complete. Summoning spell / conjure flame atronach / rank 3. Mission complete. Alteration spell / intermediate creation / rank 3. Alteration spell / clairvoyance / rank 3. Fire spell / fireball / rank 3. My numbers are great. I couldn't help but feel satisfied. My physical stats have evolved well, reflecting the constant effort I dedicated to my abilities. Endurance stood out as the statistic that progressed the most, a necessary achievement in the face of challenges in the dungeon. Every blow I resisted, every healing spell I cast, all contributed to strengthening this crucial area. However, agility, my most lacking area, showed signs of neglect. By prioritizing the clever use of the dodge spell, my physical body took a back seat. A deliberate choice, but one that I now realize has its own implications. Now, my magic stat. I couldn't help but murmur. Adding my last 2,223 points to these new 1,120, I reached the mark of 3,343 points. A score comparable to a level 4 mage. The magical power flowing through me is palpable, fueled by the constant improvement during these weeks of training. My spells, once modest, now exhibit a potency that defies expectations. My abilities remain unchanged, steadfast in their effectiveness, but it's in the spells that I see the true metamorphosis. The count exceeding 20 is a notable feat. Not even Riveria, the experienced elf, seems to boast such magical diversity. An achievement that, I must admit, fills me with a sense of accomplishment and, at the same time, a shadow of unease. As I revisit my missions, a certainty emerges. My evolution, though impressive, is only the beginning of a path that stretches ahead of me. Missions. Initial mission. Learn a spell without interacting with a god. Progress. Completed. Reward. System initialization. Firebolt mission. Rank 2. Cast 10,000 firebolts. Chant. Firebolt. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Strength booster mission. Rank 2. Cast 1,000 strength boosters. Chant. Strength booster spell. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Speed booster mission. Rank 2. Cast 1,000 speed boosters. Chant. Speed booster spell. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Goblin summon mission. Rank 2. Keep the goblin active for 100 hours. Chant. Summoning spell. Goblin. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Lightning weapon mission. Rank 2. Cast 5,000 lightning weapons. Rank 2. Chant. Lightning weapon. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Intermediate monster Rex mission. Defeat Goliath alone on the 17th floor. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. 100,000 points. Hidden condition. You defeated Goliath at level 01. Hidden reward. 01x card that nullifies a chosen magic chant. Plus 100,000 points. Minor heal mission. Rank 2. Cast 5,000 minor heals. Rank 2. Chant. Minor heal. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Mage Light mission. Rank 2. Cast 2,000 Mage Lights. Rank 2. Chant. Mage Light. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Clean Body Clothes mission. Rank 2. Cast 1,000 Clean Body Clothes. Rank 2. Chant. Clean Body Clothes. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Fix Clothes mission. Rank 2. Cast 1,000 Fix Clothes. Rank 2. Chant. Fix Clothes. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Minor Gravitational Field mission. Rank 3. Cast 10,000 Minor Gravitational Fields. Rank 3. Chant. Gravitational spell. Minor Gravitational Field. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Multi-Firebolt mission. Rank 3. Cast 10,000 Multi-Firebolts. Rank 3. Chant. Fire spell. Multi-Firebolt. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Iron Flesh Mission. Rank 3 cast 5000 Iron Flesh Rank 3. Chant. Alteration Spell. Iron Flesh. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Minor Magic Aura Mission. Rank 3 keep Minor Magic Aura Rank 3 active for 200 hours. Chant. Magic Spell. Minor Magic Aura. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Hidden. Variant Monster Rex Mission. Defeat Black Goliath alone. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. 500,000 points. Hidden Condition. You defeated Goliath at level 2. Hidden Reward. 01x Random Rank 3 Magic Card. Plus 01x card that nullifies a chosen magic chant. Plus 500,000 points. Fast Dodge Mission. Rank 3 cast 10,000 Fast Dodges. Rank 3. Chant. Space Spell. Fast Dodge. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Lightning Weapon Mission. Rank 3 cast 5,000 Lightning Weapons Rank 3. Chant. Lightning Spell. Lightning Weapon. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Conjure Flame Atronak Mission. Rank 3 keep Conjure Flame Atronak Rank 3 active for 200 hours. Chant. Summoning Spell. Summon Atronak. Progress. Completed. 100%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Clairvoyance Mission. Rank 3 keep Clairvoyance Rank 3 active for 100 hours. Chant. Illusion Spell. Clairvoyance. Progress. 0/100. 0%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Intermediate Creation Mission. Rank 3 cast 2000 Intermediate Creations Rank 2. Chant. Alteration Spell. Intermediate Creation. Progress. 28/2000. 1%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. Fireball Mission. Rank 3 cast 10,000 Fireball Rank 3. Chant. Fire Spell. Fireball. Progress. 23/10,000. 0%. Reward. User can cast spell without chanting. All missions are almost complete. I just need to tackle the last 3, which are the most recent ones. I declared as I observed the massive screen projecting the details of my journey. After thoroughly reviewing all my stats, I decided to conclude the analysis. Although I had accumulated 150,000 store points, I chose to save them strategically, aiming to acquire a high-caliber spell at the peak of the store's rank 3. With a sigh, I closed the holographic screens, ending the immersion in my own numbers. I adjusted myself and, determined, headed towards the imposing Twilight Mansion, where I could further develop my magic with Riveria. Chapter 51. Twilight Mansion 01. Lucius POV. Somewhere. Orario. Streets of Orario. As I navigated the bustling streets of the city, the atmosphere pulsated with the frenetic energy of commerce and urban activity. Life thrived in every corner, and I blended into the crowd, a discreet observer amid the constant buzz. The absence of Riekling by my side contributed to my relative invisibility. Without my flashy companion, I went unnoticed by most, enjoying a brief respite from my notoriety. My usually flamboyant cloak remained concealed, and only the distinctive star tattoo on my forehead remained as a trace of my identity. For now, I was just one among many in the busy city. However, the echo of my name reverberated silently in my mind, and a restless curiosity made me ponder the nicknames that had been attributed to me. Yet, prudence held me back, and I chose not to open that Pandora's box. Knowing my nicknames could unleash a torrent of frustrations, and I preferred to keep that mystery. Entering the city center, near the imposing Babel Tower, commerce reached new heights of activity. The crowd, a symphony of voices and offers, enveloped me as I seemingly went incognito. However, the smooth course of this journey was abruptly interrupted by a sharp, penetrating gaze, as if trying to access my soul. Damn, what is this? Escaped from my lips, drawing curious looks around me. A quick scan revealed the source of the intrusive gaze, the hostess of Fertility Pub. Rhea, sweeping the entrance with determination, and Seer, holding a tray with grace, caught attention. However, I knew that behind the mundane facade, it was Freya staring at me, trying to probe my soul. A shiver of panic enveloped me as I faced the goddess's relentless gaze. Darn, don't tell me she's monitoring me now? I exclaimed internally, feeling the pressure of Freya's scrutinizing look on me. Surveying the situation, I analyzed the nuances of the goddess's gaze. It wasn't a glimpse of surprise or perplexity, but of curiosity and questioning. I concluded that, for now, my true soul remained hidden from her. Even though she noticed that I had detected her surveillance, the waitress just smiled, leaving me with the unsettling feeling of being observed by deities as I continued down the path, deliberately ignoring the stalking goddess. As I advanced, I left behind the bustling commercial area and entered the wealthier region of the city. The scene changed drastically, revealing an opulent environment filled with luxurious residences. This region contrasted deeply with the atmosphere of the abandoned church. It didn't take long for me to catch sight of the grand Twilight mansion. Level 2 guards, imposing in their armor, guarded the entrance. The question from the armor-clad man, wielding a spear, cut through the air. "Who are you, and what is your purpose with the Loki family?" he inquired, his serious expression denoting the gravity of the situation. As I approached, my casual attire inevitably raised the need to question my identity and intentions there. "My name is Lucius Drakenar, a level 2 adventurer from the Hestia family. I have some business with Princess Riveria. I'm sure Captain Finn can confirm my words," I asserted, observing the exchange of glances between the guards, aware that my presence was a cause for concern and curiosity. "I'll send a message to them, but don't expect much. There's a meeting going on right now. I'll just say you're here because the captain told me to inform as soon as you arrived at the gate," the guard instructed seriously. Surprised by the guard's willingness to announce my presence during the meeting, I realized that Bet had probably already informed about my visit after our encounter the day before. While one of the guards went to inform the executives, the other granted me passage through the gate. The environment extended beyond the majestic mansion, encompassing a spacious courtyard where members of the Loki family engaged in training. Some secondary team members were involved in sparring, and a closer look revealed the presence of Raoul Nord, a level 4 adventurer who seemed to lead the second team of the Loki family. Without an immediate purpose, I decided to approach the group, as the guard had suggested I wait in the courtyard while he returned to the gate. "Yo," I announced my presence as I approached close enough to attract attention. "HM? Who are you?" "Naya," inquired a catwoman next to Raoul. Her dark hair echoed the tone of her ears and eyes. Realizing she didn't recognize me, she promptly questioned, "Are you Lucius from the Hestia family?" "He was at our family's camp while we stayed on the 18th floor to rest from the last deep dive. Don't you remember him, Aki?" Raoul, noticing my presence, quickly provided this information to Anakitty Autumn. "Ah, yes. He's the one who caused that commotion near Riveria." "Naya," she confirmed, referring to my intervention at the scene and going there to report the situation to the family captain. "I believe so, but anyway, nice to meet you. I don't think I've formally introduced myself to you. I'm Lucius Drakenar, a member of the Hestia family." I smiled as I made this formal introduction, recognizing that I had never exchanged words with them before. My presence caught the attention of other members, who briefly interrupted their activities to observe the higher-level sparring. However, they remained silent. "I'm Raoul Nord, level 4 member, and captain of the 2nd expedition team of the Loki family," Raoul announced, extending his hand for a handshake. "I'm Anakitty Autumn Naya, level 4 member under Captain Raoul and the 2nd team Naya," Anakitty added, displaying a friendly expression. I accepted Raoul's handshake, realizing that both were approachable individuals. My previous experiences with them had not generated any misunderstandings, although there had been a period when I was frowned upon in the family after an incident with Ace. I was about to initiate a more detailed conversation when I was interrupted by someone whose approach I didn't expect, although a lack of surprise permeated my face. "You!" The thunderous shout of a young girl echoed through the courtyard, interrupting even the ongoing sparring. All eyes turned to the source of the commotion, where a goddess approached with comical steps, eyes closed, and an expression of exaggerated anger. Continuing her approach, the goddess reached me, and before anyone could react, she grabbed my shirt, staring at me with closed eyes and letting out a scream. "You're the darn member of that chibi who's stealing mommy." Her words carried fervent indignation. "HM? I don't know what you're talking about, Goddess Loki." I responded calmly, though a smile formed on my face. The revelation that the Loki family had this perspective that I would be stealing Riveria added an unexpected touch to the situation. You may be an interesting human, but I'll never hand Mom over, and I'll do everything to keep her from falling into your hands, because those huge and beautiful Brea, HM? Ouch. Loki was abruptly interrupted as she took a hit on the head from a staff. Riveria had appeared behind her, eyes closed and a slight blush on her face, as if feeling ashamed by her goddess's impulsive display, who now put her hand to her head in response to the pain caused. I stared at this woman for a moment, a bit lost in the whirlwind of recent events. I wasn't sure how to proceed after the episode with Loki, but I was saved by Finn's arrival, who appeared shortly after with the whole team. "So, you're here. I hope my goddess hasn't bothered you too much," he said, appearing friendly, although I knew he was acting diplomatically. Next to him, Tiona was visibly excited, while her sister observed Finn and me with a curious look. Little Lafia beside her displayed eyes of resentment, an expression that intrigued me. Aze, by her side, maintained her usual gaze, while Gareth wore a playful look. Bet, on the other hand, snarled at me with his eyes. While each acted according to their perspective, Riveria gave me a neutral look and spoke in a neutral tone. "I believe you're here because of my invitation and proposal." "Yes, I am. I want to learn about magic. Despite having my own abilities, I'm quite ignorant of magical principles, as I've never studied them before," I replied sincerely. Despite enjoying the time with the elven princess, my main motivation was the pursuit of magical knowledge. "Are you willing to become my student then?" she asked, but with no blush anymore. There was a dangerous look in her eyes as she uttered those words. Lafia and even Ace seemed to sweat at this mention, as they were students of Riviera, an experience I had no knowledge of, but judging by their faces, it didn't seem very pleasant. "I believe so," I finally said with a smile that started to become nervous. "What? Mom is going to teach him?" "I disagree. I don't want him near Mom. Near those beautiful curves." Ouch. Loki once again received a hit from Riviera's staff with another blush. "Ouch. Mom, why are you doing this?" "Silence, Goddess Loki. I promised him and warned that this may benefit us some time ago," Riviera said with closed eyes. "But he's dangerous." "Silence." "But Mom." "Silence." "But." Silence. The goddess Loki could only be in depression at this moment, seeing that her daughter didn't even let her speak anymore. But she looked at me again and grabbed my shirt again. "Listen here, I don't care if you're the son of that chibi. I'll even allow you to be taught by Mom. But if you touch, no. If you look at those precious and soft curves of Riviera, which I always wanted to touch, I will curse you for eternity. Something that even your goddess won't be able to protect you from my wrath." Ouch. While Loki had a dangerous look with open eyes as she pronounced her curses, she took another hit from the staff of the elf, who couldn't stand her mischievous goddess anymore. I really didn't know what to do. These gods are always peculiar. After forming a personality for thousands of years, it would never change. I was even confused by Loki's unhealthy desire for female breasts. While Finn sighed with this and the rest of his family looked at the scene in an amusing way, the members of the second team were lost with these declarations from their goddess. However, a visibly impatient werewolf couldn't contain his displeasure any longer and interrupted the scene with a powerful growl, capturing the attention of everyone present. "Wait a moment," he roared, directing his fierce gaze in my direction. "I have waited long enough. You and I." He pointed at me with an evident challenging expression. "In the sparring field, now." His irritation was palpable, a latent eagerness to confront me that had grown since our first encounter. Bet, as he was called, received enthusiastic support from Loki, whose words echoed in agreement. "That's right, Bet. Teach him so he never steals Mom." The goddess's statement added an element of excitement to the proposed challenge. I looked at them for a moment and sighed. It was time to face their constant fights and provocations. "Okay, let's fight then," I said, casting a glance at the enthusiastic Bet, aware that I was about to face a considerable physical challenge. However, a silent determination shone in my eyes, indicating that it wouldn't be as simple as he imagined. The sparring field awaited, and as the sun indicated mid-morning. Chapter 52, Twilight Mansion 02. Lucius POV. Twilight Manor, Orario. On a radiant morning, the sun's rays began to illuminate the training grounds of the Loki family. The gentle light of dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and orange, creating a serene yet vibrant backdrop for the impending battle. As spectators gathered, their numbers continued to grow, transforming what was initially an intimate event into a spectacle watched by 50 pairs of eager eyes. "Wow, I can't afford to lose in front of so many people, can I?" thought Lucius, feeling the additional responsibility in front of the numerous audience. He stood at the center of the training ground, while Bet, the imposing wolfman, stretched his muscles in the morning light. Bet's mocking gaze revealed confidence, but behind it gleamed a fierce determination. "What's the matter? You're not going to tell me you're scared now," taunted Bet, a sadistic smile contouring his lips, increasing the tension in the air. "Let's get started already. Your stretching is getting boring," replied Lucius, impatient, revealing his indifferent attitude towards his opponent's prolonged preparation. "What did you say, little mage?" growled the wolfman, challengingly. The training ground, bathed in morning light, was about to become the stage for a collision of forces under the watchful eyes of an audience eager for excitement. Meanwhile, at some distance, the group of spectators eagerly awaited the start of the fight. Tiona, full of enthusiasm, couldn't contain her curiosity. "Who do you think will win?" she asked, eager to witness the unfolding battle. "Isn't it kind of obvious? I don't think he'll beat Bet." "Don't you think so, Captain Finn?" Tione, her sister, commented beside her, her gaze revealing a hint of skepticism. "Anyway, I think it's going to be an interesting fight," Gareth added, palpable enthusiasm in his voice. "Bet, beat him for me," Loki shouted, his voice echoing with enthusiasm among the spectators, demonstrating his unwavering support. Meanwhile, Finn, the captain, showed his insight. "Riveria, can you create some magical barrier? If he really is the one behind what happened on the 18th floor, then his magic must be quite destructive. It's better to be cautious." "Yes," Riveria replied, raising her staff with elegance. "My name is Elf." Upon concluding the chant, a magical barrier began to materialize in the middle of the training ground, enclosing Lucius and Bet in a 40-meter space. Riviera's skillfully woven magic created a defensive barrier promising to contain the potential damage of the imminent battle. "Hee, I'll be able to hit you without worrying about others," taunted Bet, arrogantly looking at the barrier rising around them. "Whatever, come on, dog. Let's fight." Lucius showed no intimidation in front of the numerous audience, the magical barrier, or the challenging Bet. His only desire was to end the confrontation to continue his magical studies. "Then let's begin." The demi-human growled in response, echoing a palpable tension that stretched across the training ground. Lucius closed his eyes, immersed in concentration, and suddenly, the training ground was bathed in a profusion of ethereal lights. Each invoked spell manifested as a spectacular display of colors, creating a magical spectacle that captured the attention of everyone around. "Strength boost spell," he proclaimed, and an intense blue light began to outline his body, revealing a visible increase in his strength. Muscles seemed to pulsate with new vitality, exuding an imposing presence. "Speed boost spell," echoed the next invocation, and a green light, like a trail of swift energy, radiated from him. It was evident that Lucius's speed was being enhanced, preparing him for the challenges that would unfold in the training ground. "Alteration spell, Iron Flesh," he uttered, and a dazzling white light flashed on his body, drawing intricate runes before disappearing. The magical alteration in Lucius's resistance became visible, transforming his figure into something more than merely human. The spectators, witnessing this dazzling demonstration of magical ability, remained in a state of shock and surprise. The murmurs of voices whispered the question of whether this was some kind of unique skill or a rare talent that Lucius possessed. The statistics displayed at this moment were like a revelation of his new strength. Strength * LV1, 1,381 plus LV2. 770 is equal to 2,151 plus 10% - 2366. Resistance * LV1, 1,454 plus LV2, 812 is equal to 2,266 plus 10% - 2492. Dexterity * LV1, 1,386 plus LV2, 603 is equal to 1,989 plus 10% - 2188. Agility * LV1, 1,433 plus LV2, 412 is equal to 1,845 plus 10% - 2030. Magic * LV1, 2,223 plus LV2, 1,120 is equal to 3,343. Sensations of power vibrated in each of these numbers, marking the beginning of level 3 for Lucius. Despite not having the 10% bonus, magic remained at a considerable level, keeping him at a nearly average level 4 status. The audience, now enveloped in the magic's radiance, remained stunned, questioning whether this was the result of some peculiar ability or if Lucius possessed an extraordinary talent. The training ground, bathed in the magical light surrounding Lucius, became a stage for speculation and surprises. The conversation among Tiona, Riveria, and the other spectators reflected the awe in the face of the unfolding unique magic. What magic is that, Riveria? It seems like some kind of support type to strengthen the body. Tione inquired, her eyes fixed on the magical display. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. Riviera's response carried a glint of interest in her elven eyes, denoting the rarity of the phenomenon. Incredible, magic that strengthens the body. I thought only skills had that capability. Surprise echoed in Tione's voice beside her. For most people, that would be a skill, but for our first-class adventurer senses, it's different. We can feel the difference. Gareth clarified, sharing the peculiar perspective of experienced adventurers. He didn't even chant. It seems like he cast the magic just by thinking instantly. Lafia timidly commented in a corner next to Ace, indicating the extraordinary nature of Lucius's ability. While the audience processed the novelty, Tione broke the silence. They've started. Her vibrant excitement filled the air. On the battlefield, the magic dance began. 6 fireballs materialized around Lucius, orbiting him with fiery grace before being launched toward the agile Bet. The Wolfman, mocking the magical attacks, disappeared like a shadow, leaving the explosions of the fireballs echoing in the empty space. Boom, boom, boom. As the explosions echoed, Bet reappeared, rapidly approaching Lucius. The mage, anticipating the confrontation with the fierce berserker-style fighter, prepared for the unfolding clash. The training ground, now enveloped in magical aura and echoes of explosions, witnessed the beginning of a battle where magical cunning would meet physical ferocity. Sun rays cast a golden light on the training ground, revealing the intensity of the imminent confrontation. Lucius, recalling the last time a level 5 attacked him, felt the echo of Shakti's blow reverberate on his cheek, even though he was already healed. A flash of caution crossed his thoughts. Thanks to his last experience, he already had an idea of what he would face here, so he prepared. Bet, the imposing figure of the Wolfman, emerged at his side, a glimpse of ferocity in his eyes. Lucius, anticipating the attack, instinctively planned his strategy. The only possible reaction was the quick decision to dodge. Vanishing from Bet's punch, Lucius reappeared a few meters ahead. However, the opponent's surprising speed required an immediate adaptation. His heightened senses went on alert, forcing the level 2 mage to adopt a defensive stance. Despite the initial mistake, Bet adjusted with supernatural agility, delivering a blow that found Lucius before it could be seen. Seeing the next blow unfold, Lucius, raising his arms in instinctive defense, was sent flying like a puppet for a few meters. He landed on his feet, but the pain, even from this defense, was glaring. This guy is no joke. His blows are so powerful, I'm seeing that fighting level 6 is so horrible. Recovering from the onslaught, Lucius watched the Wolfman advancing again. With no choice, he channeled a large amount of magic toward the path of the formidable level 6 opponent in a desperate attempt to curb the momentum of the attack. In a desperate effort to change the course of the confrontation, Lucius channeled his magic with a determined expression. Gravitational spell, gravitational field. The atmosphere around Bet took on a purplish hue, indicating the manifestation of the gravitational spell. Even under 5 times the pressure, Bet, with his imposing stature, faced the challenge without being shaken, casting a mocking glance at Lucius. Fire spell, multi-firebolt. Fireballs were launched towards the Wolfman, but with the speed worthy of a first-class adventurer, Bet easily dodged them. The mocking expression remained, as if he were just having fun. This guy is just toying with me, so I'll have to fight with everything I have, thought Lucius, raising his hand and shouting. Fire spell, fireball. Fire spell, fireball. Fire spell, fireball. Fire spell, fireball. Boom, 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 boom. Unlike the previous attempts, the explosions now caused more significant damage, leaving the ground marked with craters where the spells hit. While Lucius chanted these spells, Bet, for the first time, seemed to perceive a real threat and stepped back as soon as he saw the mage's hand raised. The explosions roared in the spot where Bet had been, but his agility still allowed him to dodge the attacks. Amidst the smoke, Lucius heard a frustrated expression from Bet. TSK, how does he have so much power? Lucius, knowing that a direct victory was unlikely, couldn't help but taunt the Wolfman. Bet, now in defensive mode, realized that the battle wouldn't be as easy as he initially imagined. Meanwhile, now I believe he broke part of the 3rd floor. This power is no joke, not when he seems to cast so quickly and has so much magic. Finn's measured observation denoted a genuine appreciation for the power manifested by Lucius, even though the captain was unaware of the truth about the fight against the variant Goliath. Very impressive. If he can cast that magic multiple times as we heard in the rumors, he is very powerful. If we had someone like that, our dungeon dives would be much easier, as he could destroy a horde of monsters or even distract bosses and monsters from the deep floors with those attacks. Gareth shared his enthusiasm, envisioning the strategic possibilities that Lucius's power offered. Yes, the chibi got another precious adventurer. No, this one is even stronger than that record holder. A mage who can cast magic like this is unprecedented in the hundreds of years I've been here in Genkai. Loki, observing the fight seriously, expressed his awe at the uniqueness of Lucius's power. But he wants to steal mommy. Suddenly, Loki started to cry, turning his surprised expression into determination. His abrupt mood change resulted in a cry of pain when Riveria acted firmly, reprimanding the goddess for her interruption again. Oh. Loki couldn't help but scream at the sudden pain in the head caused by Riveria and her staff. Pay attention, Goddess Loki, said Riveria stoically, imposing discipline. The training ground, once tranquil, was now a boiling cauldron of comments and emotions, each spectator immersed in the nuances of the battle between Lucius and Bet. Watching the fight so far, he's very powerful for a level 2, and I don't say that in magical terms. What do you think, Captain? Tione shared her thoughts, revealing sharp insight in evaluating Lucius's ability. The attentive looks of those present reflected the complexity of the scene. Because his physical stats are already at a level 3 adventurer. Finn spoke, his eyes fixed on the battle, immersed in his strategic analysis. What? But he's not a swordsman, is he? Lafia's question echoed in general perplexity. It's incredible. He's a mage who prioritizes his physical stats, from what we've heard in the rumors. He fights with a sword enveloped in lightning magic. Something no one else has is that kind of style here in Orario. Gareth pondered, connecting pieces of the puzzle that was Lucius's fighting style. And in magical terms, he's already at level 4. That's why Bet had to dodge. Those last spells are no joke, even for a level 6. Riviera's stoic voice cut through the murmurs of the training ground, adding a layer of seriousness to the discussion. He wasn't at this level when he was at the camp, was he? Finn inquired, and Lafia's displeased expression revealed her discomfort with the idea of being surpassed by an unknown mage. True, Lafia commented, expressing surprise at Lucius's rapid growth. It hasn't been even a month since he leveled up, and he's already entering level 3 in physical strength and level 4 in magic. This is truly abnormal. Finn remarked, echoing the general astonishment at Lucius's extraordinary evolution. First the white-haired brat, now this mage? Is that chibi doing something to her kids? Loki asked seriously, casting a shadow of suspicion over the notable developments. Anyway, he's quite strong. I want to fight him too. Tiona expressed her excitement, seemingly oblivious to the suspicious atmosphere that was settling in. A's, always seeking strength, observed with interest. Lucius's rapid growth echoed what she had witnessed with her friend Belle, inspiring and thrilling her to see another adventurer evolving before her eyes. Let's watch the fight and see if he can show more about his secrets. Finn spoke, gathering everyone's attention back to the fight. The Loki family, along with the rest of the members of the training ground, remained enveloped in anticipation, witnessing one of their main team members against a rising adventurer. Chapter 53, Twilight Mansion 03. Lucius POV. Twilight Manor, Orario. The training ground resonated with the constant roar of explosions, each blast echoing through the surroundings of Twilight Manor. The intensity of the battle between Lucius and Bet kept everyone present on edge. The incessant explosions challenged understanding of how Lucius could cast spells in what seemed like an endless sequence. It was as if he were revealing a hidden facet of his abilities, a frank display of his true potential. After all my skills that I tried to hide, I can't hold back anymore since there are so many rumors and witnesses, so I'll show a bit of what I'm capable of. Lucius's thoughts reflected his decision to reveal his true strength, marked by the constant casting of spells. Conjuration spell, summon Atronak. An Atronak appeared, advancing quickly toward Bet. The level 6 adventurer reacted with disdain, attacking and destroying the summon with a single blow, ignoring the high temperature it radiated. Fire spell, fireball. Fire spell, fireball. Lucius continued to cast fire spells, each explosion challenging Bet to dodge. The training ground became a spectacle of lights and shadows, reflecting the intensity of the confrontation. I must admit, you're surprising for a level 2, but you're still a weakling. Bet, showing his arrogance, taunted the mage facing him. Come on, dog. Show me what you can do besides talking. Lucius taunted, demonstrating his determination to challenge the level 6 adventurer. Tisk, take this then. Bet ran toward Lucius, who reacted by reinforcing his body with support spells again to replenish the effects. Strength boosting spell, speed boosting spell, alteration spell, iron flesh. Lucius cast a series of spells towards Bet, including a gravitational field to hinder his movements. Gravitational spell, gravitational field. Fire spell, fireball. Fire spell, fireball. Fire spell, fireball. These last spells, the most challenging, were the only ones Lucius had to shout. While the gravitational field tried to restrict Bet's advance, fireballs were launched in his direction, seeking to hit him despite his ability to dodge. Boom, boom, boom. The explosions tore through the air, creating a chaotic symphony of light and sound. The training ground was now infused with the smell of smoke and remnants of magic, witnessing the intensity of the confrontation. It didn't take long for Bet to reach Lucius, displaying a challenging smile as he delivered a powerful punch, sending the level 2 mage more than 10 meters away. Watching closely, Bet noticed the green light enveloping Lucius, indicating that he was healing himself through some magic. The werewolf prepared for another charge, while the mage activated his defensive spells and skillfully dodged. This is getting interesting. I didn't think it would be so fun to fight this weakling. Bet's thoughts reflected surprise and excitement at the challenge presented by Lucius. He advanced amidst the explosions, dodging debris caused by the fireballs. As Bet approached for another attack, Lucius surprised him with an unexpected strategy. Instead of attacking at close range, the mage aimed at the ground, anticipating the werewolf's appearance point. Fire spell, fireball. Boom. The explosion engulfed both in a bold strike, creating a moment of shock and admiration among the onlookers. Oh, he got Bet. Tioni exclaimed, expressing the surprise and excitement of the group watching from the outside. The charged atmosphere in the training ground became a stage for the reflections of the spectators as the dust from the explosion hung in the air. Gareth, with his insight, was the first to comment on Lucius's seemingly risky strategy. I noticed he can heal himself. It would be a good strategy if he had a stronger healing spell to fight someone stronger. But from what I've seen, his healing spell is like a low-quality healing potion, Gareth analyzed, sharing his observations. I agree with Gareth. He's just hurting himself, casting such a destructive spell on himself. But I admit he managed to get Bet, who didn't expect that either, another team member added. While the main team discussed strategies and assessed the situation, Lucius recovered amid the smoke and debris resulting from the explosion. It hurts too much. But at least I got him, thought Lucius, casting healing spells to minimize his injuries. What's wrong, dog? Got burned a bit? Lucius taunted, though far from unscathed. Bet Loga, on the other hand, exhibited his clothes in a pitiful state, revealing for the first time the effects of the powerful level 2 spell. However, despite the burned and torn clothes, Bet showed remarkable resilience compared to Lucius. Even with his garments in poor condition, Bet was much better off in terms of injuries. You're truly insane. Bet commented, surprisingly solemn in the face of the mage who had just unleashed a suicidal attack. You haven't seen anything, Lucius replied, flashing a smile at his opponent while coughing a bit, paying the price for his own magic. TSK never thought a level 2 would lay a finger on me. I'm quite surprised, Bet said, revealing a tone of acknowledgement in his voice, as if now realizing Lucius's true capability after that bold attack. The tension on the training ground reached a new peak when Lucius, despite his sorry state, challenged Bet with a determined smile on his lips. Now, let's continue, dog, proclaimed Lucius, casting a defiant look. Tisk, Bet clicked his tongue and swiftly advanced, delivering powerful blows toward the mage. Lucius, agile as always, managed to partially dodge the initial attacks, but Bet, with his level 6 dexterity and speed, quickly turned and struck Lucius squarely with a brutal blow. Pah! The impact sent Lucius flying several meters, highlighting the disparity between the two opponents. Even in his precarious state, Lucius didn't give up, and almost instinctively, activated his healing magic to mitigate the damage. However, Bet showed no mercy, advancing relentlessly and landing blow after blow. Man, I'm taking a beating now, thought Lucius, acknowledging the extreme difficulty of the fight. However, the adrenaline of the battle and the opportunity to learn from a high-level opponent kept him motivated. Facing Goliaths and other powerful creatures was one thing, but dealing with Bet was a whole different challenge. After being thrown against Riviera's barrier, Lucius quickly got up, determined to continue the fight. However, his attacks couldn't find the target, and he realized that facing Bet would require bolder strategies. Lucius opted for a risky tactic, an attack that could be considered an act of desperation. Aiming at the ground near Bet, Lucius cast his magic, making the area around them explode. It was a risky strategy, hitting himself, but Lucius trusted in the effectiveness of his healing spell to minimize the damage. The explosion created a curtain of smoke. The dense smoke hung in the training ground, obscuring everyone's vision. In the midst of this mysterious fog, Lucius heard Bet's voice. Again. Before he could articulate a response, a devastating punch came from within the smoke. Swift and relentless, the blow hit Lucius before he could react, making his bones creak and sending him airborne. "I won't last much longer now," murmured Lucius, feeling the throbbing pain in his body. "Anyway, that was surprisingly fun, but now it's over," declared Bet, materializing next to the fallen mage. Before Lucius could offer any resistance, he was hit again, falling into unconsciousness. A moment later, Lucius awoke abruptly. He found himself surrounded by the Loki family, while Riveria, with her stoic expression, applied healing magic to his wounds. Lucius sighed, breaking the silence that had settled in the place. Everyone already knew he was conscious, but the atmosphere was tense, charged with the expectation of how he would react to this defeat. The dust from the intense battle began to settle, revealing a training ground marked by explosions and powerful spells. Lucius, still recovering from his injuries, addressed the Loki family with a weak smile, self-awareness in his words. "Did I lose really badly?" he asked, seeking validation after the confrontation. "Ha ha ha, I wouldn't say that. You got him there," replied Gareth, the first to try to cheer him up, followed by Tiona's enthusiasm. "You may have lost badly, but you got Bet there." Even Finn, the captain, praised Lucius's unexpected performance. "They're right. I didn't expect that from you, as no level 3 in our family would have done better," Tione added with a touch of humor. "Bet even had to go back to the room and change clothes because of the state you left him in. Isn't that right, Captain?" While the compliments and comments unfolded, Loki, the mischievous goddess of the family, couldn't help expressing her displeasure, interrupted by a knock on the head. "Anyway, can we talk about our deal?" "Once you change, of course," Riveria suggested calmly. Lucius, noticing the sorry state of his clothes, cast a repair spell, surprising everyone as his attire regenerated, leaving him impeccable. "Well, that's quite handy," Loki commented, breaking the silence. "Teach me that," exclaimed Freya before covering her mouth in embarrassment for drawing too much attention. "That's a spell I'm not sure I can teach." "Anyway, we can talk about your proposal," Lucius replied, directing his gaze to Riveria. "Great. Then let's use the meeting room." "Follow me," said Riveria, getting up, while Loki quickly joined the scene, determined not to leave Lucius alone with Riveria. Lucius sighed, beginning to follow the group toward the meeting room, passing by the Loki family members who were watching in the courtyard. Chapter 54, Beginning of Magical Training. Lucius POV. Twilight Manor, Orario. The private room, where executives usually conducted meetings, provided a serious and focused atmosphere. Lucius entered, noticing Loki's protective stance next to Riveria, her shrewd eyes watching him like an attentive fox, as if afraid he might steal something valuable at any moment. A sigh escaped Lucius' lips as he closed the door, realizing how Loki exaggerated her posture. Walking to the center of the room and sitting on the opposite side of the two women, he calmly looked at them, waiting for Riveria to take the lead. "Well, as I mentioned before, I offered to put you in some of my classes. It seems you face some issues with magical stability, as if there's excessive magical growth that you can't control." Riveria analyzed with an analytical expression. "Well, it seems so." Lucius scratched his head, partially truthful under Loki's scrutinizing gaze, examining him with suspicion. "Don't worry, I'm not demanding you explain your abilities. That's a secret of your own family, something we can't interfere with," Riveria said in a neutral tone, easing Lucius, who sighed upon hearing those words. "Damn Chibi and her luck." Loki muttered beside, crossing her arms with an air of discontent. "Anyway, you may have many spells and a large amount of mana/mental energy, but it seems you don't have much magical knowledge. It intrigues me, but the lack of that knowledge also leaves a lot of room for growth potential," she continued, changing her tone in the next sentence. "So, I'll train you," she concluded, her atmosphere shifting to intense determination and an intimidating presence, causing Lucius to raise an eyebrow. "It's an offer I can't refuse." Lucius replied sincerely, contemplating the unique opportunity to have someone of Riviera's caliber as his instructor in Orario, or even in the world. I'm glad you think so, because it won't be easy. I'm warning you, so I don't want you complaining, even if you wish for death. Riviera said simply, but her words sent shivers down Lucius and Loki's spines, creating a tense atmosphere in the room. Wait, I heard that Freya suffered at the hands of this elven princess, but is it to this extent? Lucius questioned in his mind, surprised at the intensity of Riviera's determination. I think I can do this. Lucius responded somewhat nervously after pondering for a moment. I'll schedule our training like this. 3 times a week, you'll come to our headquarters to study alongside my pupil, Freya. You'll have assignments, and I intend to assess your results. I won't be satisfied with anything less than what I consider excellent performance. Otherwise, I'll make sure you can't even sleep on the following nights. She declared coldly, making Lucius wonder when this elf became so ruthless. That's the way to go. Loki looked at the poor human trying to win the mom over and was about to receive the terrible treatment of this executive. Loki, as always, laughed and teased those who became Riviera's pupils. Loki, be quiet. The serious tone in Riviera's voice sent shivers down both Loki and Lucius' spines. Where's the usual Riviera, and how did she become this scary woman? Both thought, perplexed by her change in attitude. But Lucius began to speak. No, but listen carefully. You'll do everything I ask, read everything I send you to read, answer all my theoretical questions, and I won't accept anything less than correct answers. Otherwise, you'll review the entire topic from the beginning to reassess. Magic is an exact science. If you misunderstand something, you'll have to go back to your basics until all your concepts are aligned. I'll also assess your performance in the dungeon as our classes progress. Riviera no longer seemed like an elven princess, but rather a terrible teacher who accepted nothing less than excellent performance from her students. Now I know why Freya had a scared look when classes were mentioned in the original. Lucius commented to himself. Subject to all this, do you still want to start our magical training? It's a path of no return. Riviera asked neutrally. I think so. I'll accept. What do we do now? Lucius was reluctant at first, but responded with confirmation and asked, while Loki remained silent after being intimidated by the elven girl. Riviera looked at Lucius with a serious and determined gaze. Lucius, our training will be divided into several stages. In the first few days, we'll cover the basics of magic, from fundamental concepts to practicing mana control. Then, we'll move on to simpler spells that you have, gradually progressing to more complex spells in the coming weeks. She paused, assessing Lucius's expression. Concentration is crucial. We will train your ability to maintain focus during casting spells, and after that, we will explore spell combinations and their practical applications in simulated scenarios. Riviera continued, in the following weeks, we will advance to the study of more advanced magic, such as runic magic and enchantments. Simultaneously, you will undergo physical training to strengthen your body and endure prolonged use of magic. At the end of the training, you will choose an area of specialization. She looked into Lucius's eyes. This won't be easy. I won't tolerate performances below excellent. 3 times a week, you will come to study at the Loki family headquarters, working alongside my pupil, Freya. You'll have tasks and frequent evaluations. If you don't meet the standards, prepare for sleepless nights. Riviera concluded, we are aiming to develop your magical abilities comprehensively. Be prepared, as it will be challenging, but the result will be worth it. Lucius was still stunned by her speech. She seemed like a general addressing cadets. He sighed and looked at the transformed woman in front of him. What will we do today with all this in mind? Lucius raised the question. Come with me. Let's go to the library for you to get the basic material to start your lessons. She said as she led the way to the family library. Lucius walked out, looking at that green-haired woman, wondering what the heck was happening here, as she no longer had a shy look but a determined and even somewhat intimidating one. Nevertheless, he followed her, eager to learn magic, his motivation to face this Riviera. Arriving at the location, Lucius noticed how this library was worthy of a family like Loki's. There must be at least 20,000 books here. The place was quite large and luxurious. Riviera began to look around, walking through the bookshelves and picking up a stack of them. Lucius silently observed near the entrance with Loki. It didn't take long for her to bring a stack of books, simultaneously with the loud noise of their weight falling onto the table in front of Lucius and Loki. Riviera's aura was much more intimidating as she stared at him now. You will read this in a week. I want a summary of all the points each book and author addresses, she said without blinking, her gaze fixed on Lucius, a man with a somewhat lost look about it. What? Isn't this too much? Lucius tried to make an excuse. Quiet, you said you would do anything I demand, so just do it, she said simply, making Lucius sound a bit tense. Sighing, Lucius nodded, having no other choice. Even so, this is too much. In my past life, if I read 50 pages of a book in a day, I would feel satisfied. And now, this woman wants me to read 15 books in a week? This is too much. Lucius lamented internally but kept his thoughts to himself. Okay, I'll do it. In the end, he accepted this demand. Great. This is the basics to start. Your classes with me will begin once you grasp the basics of magical introduction, she said emotionlessly. Is this just the basics of introduction? Lucius didn't know what to say. What? Are you giving up already? She asked, raising an eyebrow. No, I'll do it. He stopped his complaint and said, Okay, I won't take your time anymore. You will need it from now on, she said, staring at him, which made Lucius nod and approach the table with books. Taking the books, he said goodbye to Riveria and Loki, leaving through the corridors of Twilight Manor with a stack of books in hand. As he walked towards the exit, there was a look of pity in the eyes of the observers as he passed by. Even Freya seemed to have pity, while Ace next to her just looked with a neutral gaze. Loki, on the other hand, seemed very happy and satisfied with the conditions Lucius found himself in, walking to the exit with him. As soon as he left, he bid farewell to the members of the Loki family with the books. Anyway, thanks for the opportunity, and I enjoyed kicking your ass, dog. Lucius spoke to Riveria and then turned to Bet beside her, who had already changed into new clothes. Tisk, next time, I'll break all your bones, Magling, Bet growled. Lucius wasn't intimidated. Even though he had lost, he would grow stronger to kick this wolf's ass in the future. I guess with that, I'll be going. Goodbye. Hope to see you a week from now with results, Riveria said with an implacable voice. Until next time then, Finn said. After bidding farewell, Lucius walked out through the gate of the Twilight Manor towards the slums with a stack of books in his hand. I needed to get strong, but in the end, I'll have to study, he lamented as he walked through the streets of Orario. In time, he reached the abandoned church and noticed something strange about the place, even though it wasn't yet noon. Conjuring his life detection magic revealed the presence of scouts on top of some buildings, watching him and the church. They must be members of the Apollo family, maybe some from the Soma family, I don't know, he reflected as he passed through the door. Even though he could see them, he couldn't determine their strength. Regardless of whether he was being monitored or not, he ignored them and entered his current home. Lucius delved into the books, each page revealing secrets and mysteries that he could hardly wait to unravel. The atmosphere in the abandoned church was imbued with the seriousness of his studies, and the white light hovering over Lucius's shoulder added a magical touch to the scene. Hours passed, and the wizard was completely immersed in his reading. Magical knowledge flowed into his mind, drawing a new horizon of possibilities. The silence of the church was interrupted only by the gentle turning of pages and Lucius's occasional note-taking in his notebook. Suddenly, the door of the church creaked as Hestia, Belle, Lily, and Reekling entered. The light illuminating Lucius revealed an intense gleam in his eyes, indicating the fervor of his study. HM? Lucius is home, Hestia asked upon seeing the wizard focused on the table. Hello, welcome, Lucius greeted, still absorbed in his books. How many books? What are you reading, Mr. Lucius? Belle inquired, curious about the stack of books before the wizard. Introduction to Magic. Lucius's response was straightforward, and he took out a small notebook to make notes. Creation magic could materialize books, but the transience of such creation made him opt for more conventional methods. Lily thinks Mr. Lucius is studying. Is Lily wrong? Lily questioned beside, her curiosity evident. Reekling emitted a suspicious sound, expressing his own uncertainty. The atmosphere was charged with the energy of learning as Lucius delved deep into magical texts, and the presence of visitors brought a touch of reality to the knowledge sanctuary he was building. Lucius, immersed in the books, answered questions without averting his gaze from the pages filled with knowledge. The environment in the church was laden with the energy of discovery, and the seriousness of the wizard reflected in his meticulous gestures of note-taking. I am studying. My teacher is threatening me in case I don't meet her expectations, declared Lucius with a firmness that conveyed his commitment to studies. His serious tone matched the concentrated atmosphere of the church. Hestia, suspicious and surprised, questioned, And who would be your teacher? Riveria, from the Loki family, answered Lucius, revealing his connection with the influential family. Hestia's reaction was impulsive and childish, expressing dissatisfaction. Huh? Is that why that damn Loki captain came looking for you? You're getting involved with that family like Belle. She couldn't hide her concern. Basically, Riveria gave me an opportunity to learn magic with her. Naturally, I won't refuse, no matter how difficult it seems. Lucius murmured, highlighting the complexity of the situation. Belle, enthusiastic, intervened. But that's amazing. He understood the importance of training, having personally experienced the positive impact of teachings from other members of the Loki family. He, Riekling, ever attentive, asked with curiosity. Sure. Everything was smooth. I just had to beat up a certain dog. The rest of the time was pretty peaceful. Lucius replied to Riekling, who, though skeptical, couldn't help but be impressed by the apparent ease of the wizard. The little goblin didn't know if he believed completely, but Lucius, without stopping, shifted the focus of the conversation as he continued absorbed in the books. How was the dungeon today? He inquired, showing his interest in Belle and his group's activities. The atmosphere in the church was silent, filled only by the murmur of pages being turned by Lucius. The soft light created by the white light ball highlighted the serious expressions of those present. Belle, curious, asked about the day in the dungeon. It was good. Even Lily is learning to use the spear that Mr. Lucius suggested. With Riekling with us, she can pay more attention to the fights, Belle reported, highlighting the training advances. Lucius, focused on his studies, announced his decision not to participate in the dungeon the next day. Only if you want to read books with me. Other than that, I won't occupy my time with anything else here. Damn, I've been here for hours, and my head is already throbbing, and I'm only halfway through the first book. Riveria thinks I'm some kind of machine. I don't understand. He grumbled, revealing the mental exhaustion caused by intense studies. All right, let's take Riekling, Belle said with an understanding smile, ignoring the machine reference. Better that way, considering we're already the target of some scouts. You guys have to be prepared, warned Lucius, gaining the serious attention of those present. Hestia, worried, questioned. What do you mean? Lucius revealed his observation about the eyes in the houses, indicating the possibility of an imminent move from the other party. I can take care of myself, but what about you guys? You'll have to get stronger, he emphasized, directing his serious gaze at Belle. Belle, initially surprised, gained a renewed determination. Yes. I'll get stronger, he declared, receiving approval from Lily and Hestia by his side. Lucius then resumed his studies, asking not to be disturbed during dinner. While the other members carried on with their routines, the weight of concerns hung in the air of the abandoned church. Chapter 55, Reading Books. Third-person POV. Orario, abandoned church. The next day, Lucius woke up late, knowing that he had finished reading his first book until dawn, which left him mentally unstable and tired. It seems like I'm alone here. Looking at the empty place, he got up to make a small coffee and start his day. While sipping hot coffee, he wondered, what do I do? Do I just read books all day? He struggled to find an answer. Maybe I should go see Makoto. It's always good to have some guidance in swordsmanship. Then, I'll return to my studies. He answered himself internally with that. After putting on simple clothes and getting ready, he left the church under some hidden glances and went to the Eastern Culture District. It wasn't difficult to reach Takamikazuchi's mansion after that. Lord Lucius, it's good to see you. You're famous now, from what I've heard. Takamikazuchi met him at the gate as I sounded the campaign. It's equally good to see you, God Takamikazuchi. I hope everything is well with you and your family, Lucius said with a smile. And what brings you here? Training? He asked with another friendly smile. Exactly. I would like to train my swordsmanship a bit more, if possible, Lucius said. Come with me. Makoto is training with my other children in the courtyard. I admit they are quite immersed in their training. He spoke and looked at Lucius for a while and continued. They have been training a lot since they returned from the dungeon weeks ago, especially after they saw your demonstration on the 18th floor. Makoto is the one spending the most time in the courtyard, after realizing that her students surpassed her by a wide margin in just a month. He smiled, and that left Lucius a bit at a loss for words. Well, I believe my continuous training efforts in the last month have given me quite good results in the end. He commented awkwardly. So I hope you improve even more, Lord Lucius. There we go, he said as we arrived in the mansion's training courtyard, at the rear of the residence. Lucius Dano. Lucius Dano. Lucius Dano. The three stopped their training when they saw me arriving with their god. Everyone was talking, using Dano like equals. This left Lucius feeling strange because Makoto spoke like that, as their relationship had always been master-student. Hello, everyone, Makoto-sensei. Lucius said to everyone, but there was extra attention on Makoto as she was his teacher. What brings your presence here, Lucius Dano? Kashima Oka asked with curiosity. As the family's commander, it was a natural question coming from him. I came to train my swordsmanship. I may be level 2 now, but I need to refine my art with the sword. Lucius revealed his intentions. I understand. So come here. I will fight with you. Makoto led the challenge since, besides being her student, she wanted to see how his skill was. Drawing the sword that Welf made for the first time from the sheath, Lucius noticed the katana made with intermediate quality materials. The sword had a dark blue metal. It wasn't a legendary sword, but it was quite beautiful in Lucius's opinion, and he liked Welf's work on the blade. So, the group began to train a lot that morning. When the period ended, Lucius said goodbye, refusing to accompany them into the dungeon as he had to study magic for the rest of the day. In the early afternoon, as soon as Lucius had a meal, he resumed his studies in the church, focusing on his second book. He had to read at least 2 books a day, which was impossible at first, since in his past life, he had a limit of 50 pages in a day. Now, he was reading a few hundred of them, which surprised him a lot, but it still wasn't enough after 2 hours of reading this new book. At this rate, I won't be able to read all the books Riveria entrusted me with. He grumbled internally. Since I can't read 2 books a day, even if I stop training with Makoto, it's still quite difficult for me. With that in mind, he thought for a moment and opened the system shop again, looking at some spells. He saw 3 that could help him in his studies. Magic spell / shadow clone / rank 4, 30 million. As if I could afford that. He grumbled while looking at the following spells. Alteration spell / magic quill / rank 2, 50,000. Materializes a quill with infinite ink while writing any thoughts of the user. The spell lasts 1 minute. Alteration spell / mental focus / rank 3, 200,000. A spell that increases your mental focus for any task in 2 minutes. These are great spells to overcome the difficulty of the task Riveria gave me. Seeing this, he could almost acquire the 2 low-level spells because he had 150,000 points, needing 100,000 more. He quickly searched under his bed for some bags with magic stones and was lucky to find some, giving him another 80,000 points, but he still needed a few more points. So, with no other choice, Lucius decided to go to the dungeon, even after telling Riekling that he wouldn't, but his movement in it would be quick, believing that he could collect these points easily on the intermediate floors. These spells were his best bet and solution to improve his learning now, so he decided to take a quick dive into the dungeon to collect these points. Thus, without getting ready and wasting more time, Lucius went to the dungeon in simple clothes. Hey, look at that guy. Simple clothes, this guy reminds me of the rumor of the suicidal beggar. Look at his forehead, that star, he's the Hestia family's wizard. So it's him. I heard he's a talented wizard. Passing through suspicious glances, how he was dressing for the dungeon dive, Lucius had no time or desire to give explanations as always. He ran to the first floor and started his path of death and destruction to the monsters on the first floor. It was when he was at the end of the floor that he found something he had never seen walking in the dungeon. A chicken? No, this is a rooster with strange colors. Lucius stopped running to look toward the strange monster that appeared in the corridor, while it stared at him amid the silence that settled between the two. Isn't that a jackbird? Lucius shouted when he realized what kind of monster it was, which made the poor jackbird scared and start running through the corridors at high speed. No, you're not going to escape. Lucius shouted as he launched a firebolt, which materialized next to him, at the animal, which was faster than the monster. The rooster was fast, but Lucius quickly cast a gravity spell to slow its movement while the fireball hit the target. Buff. Haha. The jackbird became a roasted chicken, Lucius commented in silence and laughed at his own joke. Meanwhile, a jackbird golden egg fell to the ground. With a smile, he approached the egg and saw the system give a signal. Notification. You have 1 jackbird golden egg. Do you want to convert the item into points? 100,000 points each. Yes, / no. 100,000 points or 1 million Valis. I'll go with the points, of course, Lucius thought quickly. Yes. Notification. You received 100,000 points for the item. With that, he returned to the surface satisfied since he obtained his points with a stroke of luck at the beginning of the dungeon without taking much time or going into deeper floors. When he returned to the church, he bought the grimoires and read, thus beginning his total time with studies, which surprised him because the focus spell made his mind much clearer in understanding the initial foundations of magic. It also made him read 3 times faster than before, which pleased him greatly. With him quickly reading the books, there was a magical quill on the table in front of him, moving on its own, writing down any thoughts and insights in his mind as he read Riveria's tomes. When Belle and the others arrived, they found Lucius once again reading his books, but they were surprised to see a quill writing next to him while his eyes remained on the book in front of him. With this new pace, he read 3 books that day, leaving him very satisfied with his new speed, and he knew he would amaze Riveria by reading all 15 books within the deadline she had given, even though she had demanded it as a minimum. Chapter 56, Apollo's Invitation. Chapter size, 1486 words. Third-person POV. Orario, abandoned church. The next day, Lucius followed the same routine as the day before, training with Makoto and the Takamikazuchi family in the morning, while spending the rest of the day immersed in reading in the abandoned church. The day passed quickly as he finished 4 more books. His pace was becoming quite satisfactory, and his notebook was filling up rapidly. He had a lot of knowledge about magical introduction theories, making him feel that he could enhance his magical abilities even further with it. It was when he met Belle and the others in the evening that he learned new information about the events that had occurred a few days ago. Belle received a letter containing an invitation from Apollo for a ball at his mansion with gods and their children the next day. Each god had the right to invite 2 children to join them at the event, something that changed from the original due to Lucius's interference in recent days. The humiliation the commander suffered must have prompted Apollo to reassess his plans. It seems he wants both Belle and me to attend, Lucius thought internally. Apollo and I have a history in Tenkai, but this is quite suspicious. What should we do? Hestia asked, a bit lost. It was clear that it was some kind of trap set by the god. Do we have a choice? Lucius asked calmly, and Hestia expressed her opinion. Lucius is right. We have to go, and I have no choice but to take you both. I plan to invite Takamikazuchi and Mayak to join us. With that, I feel safer. Lucius sighed. So, he would participate in a banquet he never planned, as his initial plan was to let the story run as canonically as possible. But the banquet, unsurprisingly, wasn't the case. All right, it will be tomorrow night. Let's organize ourselves, then. I'll talk to my friends and get our clothes, as we have a lot of money saved up. Hestia concluded excitedly, while the rest of us had the rest of the night as usual. The next day, I spent the morning with Makoto and studied in the afternoon with 3 books, completing 8 out of the 15 read. I'm quite satisfied with this. I might even boast to Riveria the next time I meet her. I hope she shows up at the banquet too. Lucius reflected calmly as he finished his 3rd book. As night fell, Hestia appeared with clothes for me and Belle, traditional social smoking attire that Lucius always found strange to exist in a medieval world. But he was in an anime world, so anything was possible, and some things would always be quite illogical. Wearing his suit, Lucius liked how it looked. He had an athletic body that had grown even more in the last month, so the clothes fit him very well, making him look quite Chad. A carriage appeared to pick us up in the slum in front of the church. Hestia had arranged this during the day, taking us to one of the richest neighborhoods in the city. After a while, we arrived at the location, the large mansion seen in the anime. Really grand, Lucius noticed. Getting out of the carriage, the trio headed towards the gate. There was an adventurer known to the family with level 2. Lucius knew him from the anime, but it was the first time he saw him without his mask that appeared in the war game. The invitation. Hestia, leading the group, handed the invitation to the elf member of the Apollo family at the gate. Yes, Goddess Hestia, you and your family can enter, he said, but I could see a look of hatred and malice coming in my direction, which I wasn't surprised about after what happened. Another reason why I wasn't surprised was the new nickname I gained the next day after the bar fight. Nickname: Enemy of the Apollo family knew. Why am I surprised? I earned this nickname in the last few days. I wanted to laugh out loud, but just smiled back at the elf, staring at him intensely. Seeing that the elf still stared, not unnoticed by Hestia or Belle, Lucius decided to play a little with this level 2. Wow, it's a grand mansion, I admit. I'm tempted to steal it for myself someday. Lucius let slip, still maintaining the same smile. The elf raised an eyebrow at the statement and stared at him even more intensely, knowing that Lucius was provoking him. Seeing that the listener didn't respond to his provocation, he continued, wanting to see the reaction of Apollo's members, so he kept talking. HM? Oh, I apologize. Where are my manners? Let me introduce myself. I'm Lucius Drachner, sir. Lissos, just Lissos, he said with a bit of thinly disguised anger, ignoring Lucius's extended hand. I understand. Well, anyway, I must thank your family for the invitation. I look forward to seeing Apollo tonight. I've heard that your god is quite interesting and tends to have a taste, well, quite peculiar. Lucius commented, earning not only a stunned look from Lissos but also incredulous looks from Hestia and Belle with the kind of statement Lucius was insinuating. TSK, put yourself in your place. You won't be disrespectful to Apollo-sama. Otherwise, our family will make you pay for it. The elf growled like never before, breaking his posture with my provocative words. Hey, no need to be in a bad mood. I'm just curious. I've heard a lot about how the god Apollo is grand and spectacular in the eyes of mortals. Lucius said loudly, but everyone could see that he was being ironic. Even another god who arrived to deliver the invitation just behind the group with 2 members of his family was open-mouthed at this mortal speaking like that about a god like Apollo. Why, don't you, come in? Good party to you all. He spoke slowly with anger, not wanting to respond to the provocation or hear more from Lucius in front of the gate. Let's go. Hestia spoke quickly, pulling Lucius forcibly into the property before he could react. What was that? Hestia yelled at Lucius, very dissatisfied, stomping her foot on the ground as she spoke. While Belle also wanted to know why this behavior, Lucius sighed and began to speak. Hestia, do you think we're having a peaceful stroll here? Lucius spoke seriously now, making Hestia stop screaming indignantly and look at him equally seriously. Remember, this was set up precisely for our family to fall into their trap, Lucius said to her. They were now quite far away in the mansion's courtyard, with no nearby ears. Trap? Belle asked, raising one of his eyebrows. Yes, it's very likely that we'll leave here with a war game. When Lucius said this, both Hestia and Belle were alarmed. No, that can't be possible. Hestia tried to deny. The bar fight was planned, Hestia. Even though it didn't go as they wanted, they will still proceed with their plans, Lucius said calmly, earning silence from the trio. That's why I won't wait for Apollo and his family to attack us first. I intend to create as much chaos as I can tonight. Lucius showed a sadistic smile here, frightening the 2 in front of him considerably. After a while in silence, Hestia broke the silence after this declaration. Just don't kill anyone. Hestia finally spoke, trusting in her son's word, who always solved the family's problems, even if recklessly most of the time. Great. So shall we go? Lucius asked for them to head inside the mansion. Wait, Mike should be arriving now. Let's wait for him, she said. They're already here, Belle commented, pointing to the gate as Mike and Naza approached them in formal attire. Hestia, it's good to see you again, as well as Belkuin and Lucius Kuin, he said with a friendly smile. It's good to see you, Mike. God Mike. Mike-sama. Hello, everyone, the demi-human girl greeted everyone. Lucius never interacted much with her. He bought some potions from their pharmacy when he first joined the Hestia family, but after he obtained healing, he never needed to appear again, choosing to get more expensive and higher quality potions from Dian's sect in case of emergency. She also helped in the rescue team when Belle was in danger, but Lucius never interacted with her at the camp. He doesn't even remember her. After greeting Naza Erasuis as well, she was the only member of the Mayak family, so only she appeared. Now, let's go, Hestia said, and we headed towards what Lucius could define the next day as a very crazy night, full of ups and downs, furious gods, joyful gods, and many bewildered beings.